Out there, in the jungle. Out there, everything's different. I seem changed. My hands, my eyes. I can see further than I've ever seen before. The smallest leaf on top of the highest tree. I can climb as if I had wings. I can smell 1,000 smells. Flowers, plants, the animals. I'm strong, powerful. The jungle's my house. It belongs to me.
Bride of the Gorilla from 1951. What an awesome movie. This is the kind of cheesy goodness that it's a lot of fun to discover as I've been doing this channel. And I actually watched this one and reviewed this a long time ago. But while researching the last film on my channel that I reviewed, Tarzan and the She-Devil from 1953, and once again seeing Raymond Burr as a grubby-looking ivory poacher, I was reminded of his excellent work in the movie Bride of the Gorilla. Again, as a grubby-looking guy in the jungle, but in this case, one who turns into a gorilla. Well, I thought it might be fun to just give this one another watch. And why not? I'll give an overview of the film, spoiler-free, and then offer some closing thoughts. Well, the film opens up with Lon Chaney Jr. Now, he plays the police commissioner Taro in this film, and we hear his voiceover about the jungle.
This is jungle, lush, green, alive with incredible growth, as young as day, as old as time. I, Taro, police commissioner of Itnan County, which borders the Amazonas River, know it as well as any man will ever know it. Isn't it beautiful? But I have also learned that beauty can be venomous, deadly, something terrifying, something of prehistoric ages when monstrous superstitions ruled the minds of men. Something that has haunted the world for millions of years rose out of that verdant labyrinth.
And hey, this one is public domain, so I can be generous with the clips. It's great. Well, we cut to lovely actress Barbara Payton as a character of Dina Van Gelder. Now, her character is married to this older Klaus Van Gelder character, played by actor Paul Caravan, played by actor Paul Cavanaugh. But the character Barney Chavez, played by the sketchy-looking Raymond Burr, seems to have a romantic interest, even if she is a married woman. Oh, shame on you, Raymond Burr. Well, Klaus arrives with a character, Dr. Viet, played by Tom Conway. And it's interesting to me as I just watched Tom Conway with Raymond Burr in the Tarzan and the She-Devil movie. They were both in that together. Well, anyhow, they all gather for dinner. And it sounds like this Klaus character is tired of Barney and just wants him gone. But when he is alone with Dina again, she pleads for Barney not to leave. She must care for this big guy, apparently. Now, outside, the character of Lorena, played by actress Carol Varga, is apparently in love with Barney as well, begging him to take her with him. But he spurns her. It would seem that this Barney character is quite the ladies' man of the jungle. Well, they're all crazy for Raymond Burr, but apparently none of these ladies read the personal life section of his Wikipedia page. But anyhow. Now, later, Barney confronts Dr. Viet and tells him that he is interested in his wife, Dina. And he slugs him and leaves him there on the ground right as a big creepy snake approaches. And, I got to give credit here to the music by Raoul Krashar. Hope I said that name right. Some really good eerie snake music as it comes creeping closer.
Help! Barney! Help! Ah!
Well, there's this old gypsy woman, Al Long, played by Gisela Werbesek, and I'm probably saying a lot of these names wrong. Hey, come on, it's my hobby channel. I'm gonna mispronounce things. It's bound to happen. Well, she finds the body of Klaus and puts some herbal leaves on his eyes and pronounces a curse on the one who did this. In other words, it's Barney, and his character, it would seem, is doomed. Because whenever an old gypsy character puts a curse on you in a movie like this, it's nothing but bad news. Well, Police Commissioner Taro arrives, played here by legendary Lon Chaney Jr. and he interrogates everybody. Now, of course, he's suspicious of Barney, but Barney, of course, denies everything. He died of snake poison, Barney says. Taro questions the old gypsy, and she gives an alibi that Barney was with Dina at the time of the crime. And there are questions asked about the mysterious leaves found on the body. So they go and they search the gypsy's room, as these leaves are apparently dangerous and forbidden, it would seem. Now, back in Ao Long's room, it's being searched by the policeman character, Nito, and hey, check it out, it's legendary actor Woody Strode. Do you remember him fighting Kirk Douglas in Spartacus? Yeah, that's him. Well, he lets her go, not going to get arrested or anything, but tells her to keep her witchy ways away from his house. Well, Barney goes to visit with Dina, who seems to just be kind of gazing off into space quite a lot in this film. But whatever, she doesn't seem to want him to leave. So soon enough, the two of them are getting married. Wow. Okay, there's a big wedding party, and all seems to be going well. But when Barney goes to sign the document, something odd seems to be going on with his hand. He runs out of the room and the doctor goes to check his hand, but it looks fine. What is going on? Well, that night he is alone with Dina, and even though she looks all lovely, he hears the distracting noises of the jungle and decides, instead of being with this beautiful woman, he would rather run off into the woods. Well, his hands start to transform, and he looks all shocked and sweaty, and before you know it, he has apparently turned into a giant gorilla. The next day, they find him just laying on the ground outside, and they bring him in for the doctor to examine. Now, Dr. Viet goes to see the inspector, and they start to talk about legends of a local monster, the Sukura, that lives in the jungle. Now, the inspector's convinced Barney is guilty, but can't prove it. But he believes that the jungle will see that he is brought to justice. So apparently there have been Sukura sightings, and they've heard from some of the natives that claim that a big monster with a human head and sharp teeth has been roaming around in the jungle. And Dr. Viet, of course, remains skeptical. Now, meanwhile, a sweaty, dirty-looking Barney returns home. He looks in the mirror and sees not a man, but a monster. So Barney in gorilla form is kind of creeping around. Looks like he's almost going to grab Dina, but then he leaves. So she wakes up, looks around startled. Now around here, Dr. Viet and the inspector show up, and she tells them that Barney has been out in the jungle again. Dina brings her rifle and goes out to try to find him. And sure enough, he is there, in human form, with his foot stuck in a trap. So they bring him back home, and once he gets bandaged up, he's soon up and walking again. So I guess it wasn't too bad of an injury. In the jungle, he professes his love for Dina, and they plan to sell this place and just move out, go to France or something like that. But after another night in the jungle, Barney appears to have gone completely loopy. He's changed his mind, and now he wants to stay. Well, with very little time left in the film, I won't ruin the ending, but what will happen? Will Barney continue his transformation into a gorilla? Is it all in his mind? Will Dina stay with this crazy guy? And can the inspector figure out what's going on and stop this evil Sukara creature? Well, you got to watch the film for yourself to see how things turn out. Well, let me wrap up this one. Bride of the Gorilla was released in 1951. It was produced by Jack Broder and was directed by Kurt Siodmak, the German director who also directed the Universal Monster classic, The Wolfman. According to Siodmak's autobiography, the original title of the screenplay was The Face in the Water. That actually makes sense, as there was a scene of, Raymond Burr looking at the water and seeing a big gorilla face looking back at him. He also said that the film was shot in only 7 days, and watching the film is not really surprising. The film is in the public domain, and there's quite a few good copies out there. I have one linked below. So my thoughts on the film. It's a little cheesy, I won't argue, but I still like it. It's a fun story with the sketchy Barney character played by Raymond Burr. He attacks this doctor, and we see his slow descent as he transforms into a monster. The film does a nice job of suggesting a lot of what happens without actually showing Raymond Burr morphing into the gorilla. A lot of times it kind of leaves it kind of suggestive. Is it all in his brain, or is it actually happening? And I like that. Kind of kept you guessing a little bit. It's not a terribly long film either, and the story unfolds at a good pace as our hero slowly goes deeper and deeper into his connection with the jungle. At one point, to Adina, he's like, "Let's get out of here and go to France." And then the next, "I love the jungle and I'm never going to leave." So, for the most part, it's an enjoyable film. Cheesy, sure, and you can have a good time either watching this with some friends, eating junk food and just making riffs and jokes the whole time, or you can just watch it by yourself and enjoy it for what it is, a less than serious monster film with similarities to films like The Wolfman, with some great actors involved. You know, it's not the most epic film, but I still enjoyed it. Plus, I think it's notable that the film did have a couple nice effects, like this chase through the jungle where we see the point of view of the monster. Now, seeing Lon Chaney Jr. here, you watch and you can't help but think, wouldn't it have been cool if he had been the one turning into the giant gorilla monster? Well, I was reading Don Smith's biography of Chaney, and for this film, director Siod Mack mentioned that he didn't want to repeat the Wolfman formula. So I guess that makes sense. It also might have been a little weird to show the aging Lon Chaney Jr. romancing Barbara Payton, who was around 24, I think, at the time of this film. Well, speaking of Barbara Payton, she's a lovely actress, but as you watch the film, so much of her role just seems to be her standing there with a vacant stare. But I mean, I guess, for a film about a guy in a jungle turning into a gorilla, they didn't really need to bother with a lot of deep dialogue for her character, I guess. She's one of those Hollywood performers, when you read their backstory, it kind of makes you wish you didn't know as much about their background, as her story is really a sad one. I've mentioned this in earlier reviews of films that she's been in on my channel. Basically, her story is that her wild Hollywood lifestyle would ultimately destroy her career, and she would end up, sadly, as an alcoholic who would die very young. And just being honest here, there are times I wish I didn't know the background of some of these actors and actresses, but it is part of what I do on this channel. Watch the films, I put some thoughts together, and I do try to dig and research a little bit. And yeah, sometimes you see that Hollywood does have a way of destroying people, it would seem. Well, let me close out this review. Bride of the Gorilla was a goofy film from 1951. Raymond Burr plays a character either going crazy in the jungle, or perhaps he's actually cursed and is slowly turning into a monster. A monstrous gorilla. Lon Chaney Jr., Tom Conway, and Barbara Payton all offer good supporting roles. And again, don't take the film too seriously. Have fun with it, and just enjoy watching Bride of the Gorilla. It's a neat film. It's worth checking out.